I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert and this YouTube channel. In this video, you'll discover the nootropic benefits of SAMe. Now, this is an update to a video I made on SAMe several years ago. You will learn why we use SAMe as a nootropic supplement. You'll learn what it is, how much to use the recommended SAMe dosage, how many times per day to use it, the potential side effects of SAMe, and the best type of SAMe to buy. So why should you listen to this video about SAMe? Because if you don't have enough folate or vitamin B12 available, your SAMe methylation process breaks down, and the result can be depression, brain fog, poor memory, and recall, and pain. And this lack of folate and vitamin B12 can affect you regardless of age. Now, this is a big enough problem that the Canadian government mandated folate fortification for all flour and some corn and rice products to address this issue in 1998. Low levels of SAMe, methylfolate, vitamin B6, and B12 can lead to all kinds of problems. And genetic defects that don't allow the use of these important vitamins can result in the same symptoms. Now, if you're dealing with any kind of cognitive problem and can't figure out what is causing it, I highly suggest taking a few minutes and watching this video from beginning to end, because this may be the answer to your problems. Sounds good? Now, before we get started, if you find this video useful, please subscribe to this channel and hit the share button so others can learn about SAMe and how it may help them in their brain health goals. So stay with me for a few minutes and I'll tell you more about SAMe. Let's get started. SAMe is the naturally occurring amino acid methionine bound to an ATP molecule and is found in nearly every cell in your body. SAMe helps produce and break down neurotransmitters acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and melatonin in your brain. SAMe maintains cell membranes and plays a role in a healthy immune system. Studies show that SAMe is very effective in treating depression without the side effects of prescription antidepressants. And while pharmaceutical antidepressants can take from 6 to 8 weeks to begin working, SAMe can work much faster. The latest research shows that SAMe can be anti-anxiety, it reduces pain, including fibromyalgia, and it can improve learning, memory, and mood. So SAMe is made from methionine, an ATP, during a cycle that recycles the amino acid homocysteine. This cycle requires vitamin B6, B12, and methylfolate to work properly. SAMe is a precursor to the crucial antioxidant glutathione, which is used in your brain and your liver. When glutathione levels drop in your body, liver damage from oxidative stress begins within seconds of exposure to alcohol or toxins. SAMe is a methyl donor that contributes to several essential processes in your brain. As a methyl donor, SAMe is involved in the production and recycling of hormones, cytokines, and acetylcholine, dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. This methyl donor process is called methylation and contributes to gene expression, affecting how your cells work and communicate, including your cell DNA. SAMe modifies important molecules in cell membranes that control communications within and between brain cells. SAMe boosts the number of muscarinic acetylcholine receptors in certain parts of your brain, which are crucial for this cellular communications network to work. SAMe is used to treat depression, anxiety, arthritis pain, fibromyalgia, and liver disease. SAMe is sold as an over-the-counter supplement in Canada and the US, and is a prescription drug in several European countries and Russia. SAMe is also marketed around the world under many different brand names, including Adamet, Donamet, Isamet, and methionine, but they're all SAMe, just with a fancy name. SAMe boosts brain health and function in several ways, but two in particular stand out. First, SAMe helps alleviate depression. SAMe is one of the main building blocks that your brain needs to produce acetylcholine, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and melatonin. By raising the levels of dopamine in your brain, SAMe helps enhance memory, motivation, and learning. Researchers at West Los Angeles VA Medical Center studied the antidepressant effect of oral SAMe in a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial with 15 patients suffering from major depression. The researchers found that SAMe is a safe, effective antidepressant with few side effects and a rapid onset of action. And it may be useful for those who cannot tolerate prescription tricyclic antidepressants. And the second way SAMe works in your brain is SAMe directly influences brain cell signaling. SAMe increases the number of muscarinic acetylcholine receptors in the hippocampus. Now, we have two kinds of acetylcholine receptors in your brain: nicotinic receptors and muscarinic receptors. Most of the nootropics I review and talk about here at Nootropics Expert influences nicotinic receptors and acetylcholine. Muscarinic receptors have a very different mechanism of action. They are part of a large family of G-protein coupled receptors, which are used as an intracellular secondary messenger system. Your brain has a very complex system of control to regulate different processes going on in different cells and in different times. Now, for this to work, there must be a sophisticated means of communication between these cells. G-protein coupled receptors and their G-proteins provide this intercellular communication and form one of the most important signaling systems in your brain. They are involved in nearly every aspect of your physiology and behavior. G-proteins work by binding neurotransmitters, hormones, growth factors, cytokines, odorins, and photons at the cell surface to the G-protein coupled receptor and activating that receptor. Everything you see, hear, smell, or taste goes through this signaling process. And SAMe increases the number of these muscarinic receptors in different regions of your brain, including in your hippocampus. In one study, aged rats were given SAMe for 30 days. Supplementation with SAMe restored the number of muscarinic receptors to levels found in the same areas in young animals. Supplementing with SAMe to increase muscarinic receptors in your brain can boost neuroplasticity and increase learning, memory, mood, and even smell and vision. You have healthy levels of SAMe throughout your body when you're young, but as you get older, your body makes less of it. Now, this is why young people bounce back from difficult experiences more easily. They've got higher levels of dopamine and a higher pain threshold than adults. SAMe is a major methyl donor in your body. It is involved in the biosynthesis of hormones, neurotransmitters, proteins, and phospholipids. SAMe participates in a sequence of events involving methylfolate and vitamin B12. Folate converts to 5-MTHF, which converts freely circulating homocysteine back into the amino acid methionine using vitamin B12. Methionine then binds to an adenosine group from ATP to create SAMe. SAMe is then able to donate methyl groups, which is a process called methylation, to a variety of reactions, including production and breakdown of the dopamine, serotonin, dopamine, and melatonin in your brain. This methylation process degrades SAMe into S-adenohomocysteine, which is then fed back into this cycle from the beginning. This process is referred to as the one-carbon cycle. Now, if you don't have enough methylfolate or vitamin B12 available, this SAMe methylation process breaks down. And the result can be depression, brain fog, poor memory, recall, and pain. This lack of methylfolate and vitamin B12 can affect you regardless of age. Now, this is a big enough problem that the Canadian government mandated folate fortification of all flour and some corn and rice products to address this issue in 1998. Low levels of SAMe, methylfolate, vitamin B6, and B12 can lead to all kinds of problems. And genetic defects that don't allow the use of these important vitamins can result in the same symptoms: cognition, memory, recall, and mood decline. Methylfolate, vitamin B6, and B12 absorption declines. Homocysteine levels rise. Pain levels rise. Mental health, language, and fine motor skills decline. All of these changes in brain energy metabolism are contributing factors to diseases including Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, epilepsy, and dementia. But even if you're not concerned with genetic defects, a lack of B vitamins or the effects of aging, SAMe can help. Stress-related disorders like anxiety, major depression, and PTSD are some of the most debilitating illnesses known to man. And if you're listening to this and dealing with any of these issues, supplementing with SAMe may help. Now, to cope with stress requires changes in the expression of immediate early genes in your hippocampus, the same area of your brain you use for learning and memory. Stressful events result in gene modifications within immediate early genes in your hippocampus neurons. DNA methylation acts to suppress the expression of these genes, and this is where SAMe comes in. SAMe is a methyl donor for the enzyme that methylates your DNA. When SAMe levels are high enough, a stressful event will not result in DNA demethylation. Instead, a stressful event enhances DNA methylation of immediate early genes, which suppress their expression, which helps you adapt in a healthy way to this stressful situation. SAMe is a powerful antidepressant. In 2005, researchers combed through the databases of Medline, PsycInfo, AMED, and Cochrane-controlled trials register and collated the findings of randomized controlled trials studying SAMe for depression through to September 2001. The team concluded, after analyzing all of the clinical evidence, that SAMe was effective in treating major depression in adults. SAMe is also a potent painkiller. A recent study looked at 56 people with arthritis in their knees for 16 weeks. One group took the COX-2 inhibitor Celebrex while the other took SAMe. Researchers found that SAMe was as effective as Celebrex at eliminating pain, and without the potential side effects of a heart attack or stroke that become caused by using Celebrex. Another study of the effect of SAMe with 17 fibromyalgia patients confirmed a close relationship between primary fibromyalgia and psychologic problems, including depression. SAMe treatment improved the depressive state of these patients, and SAMe was found to be an effective and safe therapy in the management of fibromyalgia. For some, supplementing with SAMe can be life-changing. SAMe can have a profound effect on emotions, depression, and feelings of anxiety. You may experience improved concentration, energy, alertness, and feelings of well-being, and vision can become clearer. Now, once you start supplementing with SAMe, you should experience, at the very least, a general sense of well-being. SAMe works particularly well for those who deal with depression or anxiety. Neurohackers report that they no longer have panic attacks, and the feeling of doom is gone. Adding SAMe to your nootropic stack can improve sociability and not feeling overwhelmed by life. Brain fog lifts and thinking is clearer and faster. Others say that the dark cloud has lifted and all negativity and stress is gone. Things that normally would irritate are just brushed off, and you move on. Now, one big word of caution. SAMe needs vitamin B6, B12, and methylfolate to work, or SAMe will elevate your homocysteine levels. High homocysteine can cause heart attacks. You'll notice reference to B vitamins several times in this video on SAMe. It's that important. Use vitamin B6 and B12 and methylfolate every day that you supplement with SAMe. Or even better yet, use a B-complex formula that contains methylfolate. We have made significant progress in the last 100 years in diagnosing and treating depression, and yet tens of millions of people suffer from depression. In 2014, an estimated 15.7 million adults in the United States had at least one major depressive episode in the past year. In the United States, 1 in 10 Americans are using antidepressants. Now, I don't have statistics from other countries, but I suspect many have similar problems. Unfortunately, antidepressants only work 30 to 50% of the time and come with a host of side effects. And one reason that many people continue to suffer from depression is that most doctors are not aware of the link between homocysteine and depression. If you're dealing with depression and have had little success with antidepressants, you may have something as simple or as serious as a methylfolate deficiency or low levels of vitamin B12. Studies show a link between methylfolate deficiency and impaired metabolism of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. One study looked at 46 patients with severe depression. 24 of these patients had raised levels of homocysteine and significantly lowers of methylfolate, SAMe, and other metabolites. The researchers concluded that looking at total homocysteine levels could be a measure of depression caused by methylfolate deficiency, impaired methylation of SAMe, and neurotransmitter metabolism, SAMe again, and a potential benefit to simply using vitamin replacement to treat severe depression, or supplementing with SAMe to treat depressive symptoms. Ritalin and Adderall are thought to be the most effective treatment in children and adults with ADHD. These stimulants work by potentiating both dopamine and norepinephrine in the synaptic cleft. But stimulant meds for ADHD comes with side effects. SAMe acts as a methyl donor and is involved in many metabolic pathways. It has both norepinephrine and dopamine receptor agonist activity. A research team at the University of California used SAMe with subjects diagnosed with adult ADHD in a 9-week double-blind placebo-controlled trial. The research team found that 75% of the patients had a significant improvement in ADHD symptoms while using SAMe. And the 25% who did not respond to SAMe did not respond to Ritalin either. Scientists at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services conducted an analysis of 102 individual studies and 25 databases on SAMe and depression in 2002. The report distilled data gleaned from published studies conducted around the world up to 2002. This comprehensive report is called S-adenosyl L-methionine for the treatment of depression, osteoarthritis, and liver disease. The researchers found that SAMe is just as effective as standard antidepressant drugs at treating depression. The agency concluded treatment with SAMe was equivalent to standard therapy for depression. The recommended dosage of SAMe for nootropic benefit is 400 milligrams per day. SAMe for depression, 400 to 1600 milligrams daily in divided doses. SAMe for bone and joint health, 200 to 1200 milligrams daily in divided doses. SAMe for liver problems, 1600 milligrams daily in divided doses. Now, some research and many user reports suggest that once positive effects are achieved, SAMe doses can be reduced. Some report benefit with as little as 100 milligrams of SAMe daily. Studies show that SAMe should be concerned with B vitamins. When SAMe donates its methyl group, it breaks down into homocysteine. Elevated homocysteine levels are associated with increased heart disease, birth defects, and depression. In order to prevent homocysteine accumulating, sufficient levels of B vitamins must be present to convert homocysteine into the potent antioxidant glutathione. Take SAMe on an empty stomach and an hour before eating any food. SAMe is best digested in your intestines and not in your stomach. So not letting SAMe settle into your digestive tract could cause stomach upset. SAMe is produced naturally in your body, so is considered well tolerated and safe. Now, if you have bipolar disorder, you could develop mania when supplementing with SAMe, so check with your doctor before using SAMe. And if you're on antidepressant medication, you should definitely check with your doctor before supplementing with SAMe. High doses of SAMe can cause gas, upset stomach, diarrhea, constipation, dry mouth, headache, dizziness, anxiety, or skin rashes. SAMe may also trigger an allergic reaction in some people. SAMe is available in 200 and 400 milligram capsules or tablets. For optimal effects with SAMe, stable enteric-coated tablets are recommended. SAMe should be taken on an empty stomach, either 1 hour before or 2 hours after a meal. SAMe is highly unstable, so check the expiration dates. And you should get tablets or capsules that are packed in sealed gel packs for freshness. Avoid SAMe in powder form, as you'll likely be unsatisfied with the result. So that's my report on SAMe. If you want to see links to the studies I talked about, go to my website, nootropicsexpert.com, and search for SAMe. Or click on the link in the notes section below this video. Just click the More button right below this video, and that will open the notes section. So once you're at my website, Nootropics Expert, you'll find a full transcript for this video. You'll also find dozens of articles on all the well-known nootropics over on Nootropics Expert. If you haven't already, download your free copy of Secrets of Your Optimized Brain. It's nearly 100 pages and contains details on 92 of the most popular nootropics used today. And my award-winning book, Head First, the second edition, The Complete Guide to Healing and Optimizing Your Brain with Nootropic Supplements, is now available. Head First, the second edition, is 962 pages and is available in hardcover, paperback, or for iPad or Kindle. You can get your copy at any major bookseller, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Balboa Press, Apple Books, Walmart, and others. You will find a link to these stores down below in the notes section of this video. And did I mention that Head First won an award? You really should get your copy if you haven't already. Head First is available worldwide. And if you could use some personal help with choosing the right nootropics or figuring out how to deal with your own brain health issues, consider booking a personal consultation with me. You'll find a link to my calendar below in the notes section of this video. Now, if you want to see more videos on all the best nootropics used today, subscribe to this channel before you leave. I'll be putting up new videos on nootropics and optimizing your brain every week. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.